welcome back, everyone. We're here with our amazing panel. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me go ahead and introduce them to you. Rudy Kelner, he's the VP Digital Strategy and Operations at MetLife. Thank you for joining, Rudy.
Thank you, Chris.
How long have you been live for, and what is MetLife live with Oracle HCM Cloud?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. We recently celebrated our 18-month anniversary of going live with the US Payroll, US Benefits and Time and Labor. This kind of was our focus within the US. And then globally, we have workforce administration, global compensation planning, absence, as well as the self-service that comes along with those modules.
What I'd like to hear from you is, how has Oracle and our cloud business partnered with MetLife? Has it been different than kind of what you've experienced in the on-premise world with PeopleSoft? What's been positive about that? And the second kind of part of the question is, do you feel we listen to you, take your feedback and try to adjust either our strategy or try to make things better?
Yeah, so definitely different from the PeopleSoft world. I recall for the years we've been for PeopleSoft customers for like 20 years. I don't think we've ever had a meeting with Oracle other than a sales meeting, right? Because once we buy a product, we install it, it's ours, and we manage it. And of course, we had the SARS, and that's it. But I would say even before we went live, we've engaged Oracle on getting us ready, right? So we had a 2-year implementation program. So we work very closely with your Center of Excellence on kind of understanding the product, and then how do we transition from 20 years of MetLife way of doing things into the cloud environment. And then ever since we went live, we formed a very close partnership with the Center of Excellence, specifically around payroll and also some of the workforce administration stuff. So right now we're co-designing some of the features that we used to have in PeopleSoft, like defaulting. It's autocomplete. And my team and I are very excited about this ability to co-create new functionality, which aligns very well with our focus on efficiency and simplification. So it's nothing but really strong partnership and ability to hear what the customers like us are saying, and also ability to have those customer focus groups, which we take full advantage of.
MetLife was live on PeopleSoft for 20-something years. I'm sure you had a few customizations that popped up over the years. So how did you think about that? How did you think about what you were going to move into the cloud, or maybe retire some of the customizations? Just so you're speaking to yourself, actually over 2 years ago when you started this journey. What would you say?
It's a combination of what kind of heard from Kelly and from Scott. It's first we also looked at, forget about what we've done, right? So 20 years, it's when we start looking at the details, everybody was, oh my God, what about this piece? What about that, right? So forget about that. Let's start focusing on what we're building new, right? My biggest battle was around position management. So we've had position management for many, many years, and it didn't serve us well. So kind of how do we live in the world without positions? And then how do we create standards, right? So I kind of heard Scott mention earlier, like they focused on data and creating the standardization. And we've done exactly the same kind of, we have population in 45 countries, living on PeopleSoft through different acquisitions. So how do we create one standard? So we've created new jobs, new grades, kind of set up the global standard and moved everyone into that structure, as well as looked where we do need to personalize, right? So we went through that phase of, okay, there's the new stuff we're building, but at the same time, the BAU needs to work. So what is needed for us to work in this personalization phase? And I have to say that this is part of the ERP. When we did look in the pre-sign phase, we looked at other ERPs in this space. And what we found from Oracle is that it's very flexible. It allowed us to go to the cloud as much as we need to, at the same time, keeping some of the personalization that just we do to run the business. Because we do have some variety from, let's say, from the standard process that cloud introduces. And having that ability to create, whether it's user-defined fields or tables or fast formulas, enabled us to build those processes the way we wanted them to be built. So I think it's for some of us, it was a longer journey than others within the team, kind of people where, it's something that you work on for many years, but we've always done it that way. And going into and saying, okay, forget about what you've done, and we're going to do it this new way, and why it's because this is the best practice, was something of a cultural shift for us. And it took us some time to transition that and redesign some of the processes and really create some new processes in place. I wanted to also add that there's also the opposite end where there was functionality in PeopleSoft that was just missing, right, in cloud.
Yep.
And what it did require for us is to kind of create some of the process that maybe was kind of takes 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But what was great, to your earlier point around the partnership, so it did enable us to partner with Oracle on kind of working on those processes of that feature functionality and co-develop it, or just nudge you guys and other customers in the direction that if we need it, I'm sure there are others who need that same functionality to just make some of the processes more efficient. So that goes back to that partnership point where kind of journeys together, right? So it's not us versus them, or it's like together we'll succeed.
Rudy, let me ask you about innovation and how you see Oracle HCM Cloud helping you on that innovation curve.
Innovation there's big pieces, right? Like digital assistant and kind of the whole new way of doing things. And then there are very small pieces that are very effective and efficient and kind of change their operations day to day, right? And I think that's been our focus and realization over the last 18 months is that by having a cloud system, it enabled us to take these small steps to constantly evolve and change and adjust, right? So now we finally kind of updated with this RUI, the responsive UI, and the experience has changed. And that was the big aha moment for kind of our group and kind of experience of people that have with Oracle, because we had a long implementation, took us 2 years to do the implementation. Then we had kind of the stabilization phase, and having this RUI, kind of people said, oh, wait, okay, so this cloud benefit is real. Because before that, it was all kind of talk, because yes, you'll go to cloud and you'll see innovation, but it took us some time to see that. And now with every release, we're seeing new functionality that is changing processes every day. And I hear it from kind of our processors, our team broadly, oh, wow, this is a cool feature, and that is a cool feature, right? So while we may not kind of take even advantage of everything that's out there, right? We're just still focusing on learning, because I think even within 18 months, there's still a lot for us to learn. And we're constantly learning in this flow of work, kind of how cloud operates and how new features are released and kind of the input that we have and other customers have. And then what do we do with that, right? So kind of how do we then adjust our process? Because just because technology is there, it doesn't always mean that we're ready, right? So then it becomes an internal cultural shift. Kind of if that is available, then all these pieces are now falling into place.
Same question, just on payroll. How has it gone? Any advice that you might have for our on-premise PeopleSoft friends?
Yeah, so definitely aligned with Kelly's kind of advice around the skills of folks who are running it and kind of looking at it as you're not just moving from PeopleSoft payroll to cloud payroll. You're really relooking at how payroll runs. We also a semi-monthly current customer, so it's a little. While in PeopleSoft, it was a lot of custom processes that we kind of put it all together to make it happen. In cloud, that's been a bit of a struggle for us to just adjust that process. And my only advice would be to look at your pay frequencies and make sure that it's how you want to continue with that. So we are looking internally at our pay frequency and to see if we should adjust to make it work a little easier for our teams. It's not an easy journey into payroll, right? So we spend a lot of time on validating the data, because I think you only hear about payroll when the check is not right, but when everything is good, it kind of goes unnoticed, right? So, and that's what was our goal when we were converting into cloud, to make sure that we just don't hear noise, right? So we were not looking to deliver the best paycheck, right? Instead, we're looking to make sure that it's right and consistently. And we spend time really on upskilling the team and even in production, right? So kind of constant learning as to how this product works and how you adjust your process. So take time within the payroll to really reimagine how payroll should work.